Hello and welcome to Retro Vehicles and Machinery. My name's Richard, and this week I have acquired through Facebook Marketplace this rough cut mower. It is a Haytor Condor, I believe. I think it's ex-council. I'm sure there's somewhere that says Sussex Council or something as a tag on it. It's a twin rotor mower. The engine on it was knackered and it came with a little sort of copy of a Honda 5 horsepower donkey engine, so it's got that on it. It also came with this complete spares setup here. So again, the engine's knackered on this one, but the gearbox was used off this to drive on here. So I'm going to be getting this up and running and working so I can use it here on the farm and use it at home to cut some of the paths where we walk the dogs. So I think that'd be quite good. Yeah, so it came with a spare deck, and there's not loads of usable bits there, but it's sort of always handy to have. The little engine, I believe, just fires straight up. So that runs sweet. So that's sweet. I have bought a pulley to go on the crank there to drive the gearbox this end. And I bought one with a centrifugal clutch in it because the chap had tried getting it going and he said, oh, there's too much drive on the motor when you're trying to pull start it. So yeah, it's got these clickers on the hub so you can move it around. So it's sort of a permanent two-wheel drive forwards motion, but you can move it around. The gearbox on it is a little 3-speed with reverse, I think, but obviously reverse probably doesn't do anything because when it drives backwards it just stays stationary. We've got the pulley on the gearbox here. That's got a tensioner on it and a relief brake here, I think, so that sort of somehow knocks off. Well, that release is to go on the that's it, that release is to pull the tension down. There you go, so you don't have to have the rotors driving. Yeah, it's quite a rugged bit of kit. No idea how old it is. It's had some repairs in the past along here. Look, some big bits of steel welding on the framework. It's got drum brakes on it, which we'll have a look at. They're on this lever here. It moves about. We'll go through it, give it a good service up and see if we can get it to do a bit of topping. So I've just adapted the throttle cable to fit on the little motor here, so it goes on, and hopefully might need a return spring on there. You can operate it via the little lever here on the handlebars. Let's see if what's on, see if it'll go. That's mega. That's one little job done there. Have a look at fitting the pulley in a sec. So I've got this little thread cleaner. It's a sort of tap, but thread cleaner. I put just in the end of the crank here just to make sure it's nice and clean before I put the little clutch assembly on. This little engine has sat outside, unfortunately, for a bit. Not with me, but, well, not just with me, but with the chap I bought it off of. A bit better. Check a normal bolt. So yes, I'm having 5 minutes looking at the mower whilst I'm waiting for parts for a customer's camper van. I've got that apart at the moment, putting new set of brakes on it because it's stood up for a few years now, so I'm recommissioning it. Big Volkswagen LT. And also I'm waiting for lorries to turn up on the farm because they've managed to cut the wheat up till about midnight last night. So we've got 4, I think, trucks coming this afternoon to be loaded. So that'll keep me busy later on. So this here is my clutch assembly. It's a centrifugal clutch with a single V-belt. It's quite a thick V-belt on that, so I'll have to root through my box of spares to see what I've got. Hoping to put that on the engine and then get a pulley for the gearbox there. I've ordered one, just hasn't turned up yet. And then we'll have a belt on there and see if we can get some drive. But for the time being, I've found a nut and a bolt, or a bolt and a washer, should I say, for the crank to just go in the end. So that's nicely ready to go on. And yeah, we'll see. We're sort of getting ready for, almost ready for a little test. So I've got the centrifugal clutch on there. It fits on the shaft perfectly. 20mm shaft on these little motors. I've got a 19mm shaft on the gearbox. So that's looking good. I'll see if I can put the bolt in. Just get that nipped up. Perfect, so we'll see how that looks when she's running. That seems to work well. Just need the pulley. I've found some belts in the shop that I can use as the pulley turns up, and we'll get the engine mounts tightened. Obviously the belt tension's on the engine, which does it by this bolt at the back here. Pulls it and then you nip the 4 mounting bolts down. Yeah, we should hopefully have a good working mower. Put the undercover shield back on. It just goes into here and protects the final drive. That's all bolted up nicely. Cleaned it all off, chucked it back on. Want to replace this little rubber boot over the gear stick because that's just manky as anything. And what I've got in the workshop is a load of little boots. They're for track rod ends or ball joints. They're dust covers, and I've got a few smaller sized ones, so I'm going to have a go at replacing it with one of these. Hopefully that'll go over there nice and stop any water ingress getting in, because that bit of rubber was useless before. And then I'll try and put the top cover back on. So he's still a bit loose on the shaft there, which is a shame. I'll have a look, see what else I've got. So I've made a new gasket for it, bit crude, a bit off-cut off the rubber matting I had for the dumper. Put a little hole in it. But that'll stop any water ingress into the little gearbox there. So that's cool. I'll reassemble that with the shaft and the stick. That'll do well. Another little job done on it. So my pulley's in the post for the gearbox side of things. So I'm just going through the mower doing bolt spanner checks and things, and I noticed there's a bolt snapped off here in the gearbox. I've put a set of snap-on easy outs down there and drilled it with a backwards thread left-handed drill bit. It's not doing anything, so I've just rattled these other bolts out of the gearbox lid, and I'm going to lift the lid and hopefully I can... Oh dear, that's not very nice. Hopefully I can extract that bolt. As you can see, the stud's sticking out. Oh, the gearbox is full of water. Oh, what have I opened up now? Very reminiscent. At least the gears have all their teeth, at least, not like the dumper. Well, that's another little job to do. Clean all this. Oh, that's definitely water. Yep, clean all that water out and scoop out all the gunge. So I've got some mole grips on the offending item. I'll pinch a bolt out of the gearbox on the spares mower. So I've managed to extract that stud. I've just had 2 calls from Adam saying there's 2 lorries on their way to collect some wheat. So that's good. One will be about 20 minutes and the other will be about an hour or so. So I'll have to go and load some lorries in a bit. I'll try and clean out this gunky, horrible gearbox and we'll go from there. So I'm just taking the lids off the little gearboxes that drive the blades on the topper, and I'm going to fill these up with some grease. It looks like they had grease in them, but it's all sort of pushed its way out. I have just had the little lid on the gearbox open and filled that up with some 1890 as well, so that's that sorted. That gearbox is done. These I'm going to just top up with grease right now. So I'm just using some multi-purpose grease here. I bought a whole box of this when I was doing the digger. Cheap enough. I think I'm going to try and just push a whole load in. Looking good. Clean all this rubbishy grease off into the bin. So let's have it. So I've given it a bit of a spanner check and gone through it. Seems pretty good. That's that one side done. We'll have a look at doing the other side. This side looks the same. Bit dry in there. I'll put a big dollop of grease in that one too. Good. I do like the fact that everything's serviceable on this machine. Just goes to show older bit of kit generally you can maintain it, whereas all new modern sort of bits, it's just when it breaks, chuck it in the bin and get a new one. the grease nicely packed into the bearings there. It's just what I did was hold it there just so it pushed the grease through the middle there and out the inside. So that little bearing's packed as much as it can be. It was very dry. Give this thing a fighting chance. So my pulley has come in the post, so I've managed to fit that up and fit the centrifugal clutch up and fit the fan belt on there. I've just had to sand that little section down there just to give it a little bit more clearance. I'm going to give it a whirl, see if it'll go. Well, that seems to power up okay. We need to have a look now if it will cut any grass. Well, I've just done a couple of runs up there and it seems to chomp its way through quite nicely. I'll try and set this up. Upon running it for a couple of minutes, the little bolt I had in the end of the crank here to hold the clutch in has wound its way loose, so we'll have to try that with a bit of Loctite, I think. That's pretty good. I have to work it. I've just kept it in first gear and just sort of mowed a sort of pass and then a half as I've been going up and down, just to see how it copes, and it seems to cut through the long stuff all right. It is on its maximum height setting. I think, yeah, the little donkey engine on it is just about powerful enough to make it work. There's a bit of fuel leaking out around the cap, so it obviously needs a new cap seal, so I'll have a look at that too. But no, that's quite good. I'm quite pleased with that. It certainly, I was going to do a run through all these deep stingers, but I might go and find a spanner and tighten that up and then give it a try quickly. So I've just plasmed the hole out where the pulley goes so I can try and fit the original covers back on. That will sit down a bit, so that's going to be fine. The pulley was going to touch on there. What I might do, I'll run it how it is and then I'll probably weld a cap over there that's sticking out. I think I'll have to just put a hole where the pulley is with the centrifugal clutch on it, just because I think the nut is touching on the end, which is a shame. But no, it's sort of coming along.